technological advances, because people would just not really look into these new innovative ideas because that's risky. That's, we could lose money there. So what happens, instead of the...
yeah, wrong again. You know that that's not the high-risk investment, okay? Investing in those things isn't high risk. What's high risk is a business that gets into an established industry and finds a way to exploit people or take risks with people's lives, or to basically rip people off. And in the long run, you can't get away with that because people finally say, fuck you. That's the, fuck you.
Instead of the owners being 100% personally liable for the money they owe to the bank, well, if the business folds, that's the bank's problem, the bank's fault. They loan money to a company that just couldn't afford to pay it. Same way with a house.
Yeah, well, wait, it's the bank's problem. No, we just found out it's not the bank's problem, is it? All of a sudden, it's the fucking people's problem, okay? That's what we found out, is that there's bankruptcy, and they went a step further this time. They wouldn't even let the bankruptcy process happen, that, where people get less than their value and the consumers pay the price. They wouldn't even let that regular process happen because they wanted to make it sure that the fucking rich were protected 100%. So now they just took 100% of the losses and gave them to the people.
Bank loans you money to buy a mortgage, they better be damn well sure that you're going to pay that money back. And if you aren't going to pay that money back, they're going to come take your home. It's your fault that home is now worth less than you gave that person. You fucked it up in terms, I'm talking about the bank here. The bank fucked up that loan, and the bank's going to take the loss. I don't know.
The bank doesn't take the loss. See, you just keep saying things that aren't true in this economy, you dumb fucker. And that was our whole point about the whole reason why I made these economic videos is because of this bailout plan, because it's a perfect example of why your fucking market anarchy capitalist bullshit doesn't fucking goddamn work, because you don't take responsibility for the real fucking losses.
Why you're saying that society's paying this loss? Where is society paying it? The only place...
Yet you know how society's paying it, because if it goes to regular bankruptcy court, it becomes the cost of doing business. Every business has to take the cost, and the businesses pass costs on to the consumers. That's a fact. If we put a business tax on businesses, which I'm against, but people do it, we know that tax is just paid by the consumers. It's not paid by the business. No shareholder pays the price. No CEO pays the price. The consumers pay the price because the cost of doing business has been elevated. And when you create bankruptcy law, all you do is force the consumers to pay the price.
Society's paying it is in this bailout. You're linking this into everything. You're linking this into all these businesses. You're just confused. You're just confused, man.
No, it would be confusing not to follow the links, you dumb ass. That's the whole point of the conversation, is to explain how this money cycles work. Alright, so you have to go through all the goddamn links. You initiated the conversation, asshole, because you wanted to say, no, it's much simpler than the reality. Yeah, we always pay back our debt. We always do this. Well, no, we don't do that shit. So you have to follow the goddamn links. You have to follow the money trail. And then you realize that, oh, okay, now this is where this fiat currency thing goes all wrong. Is because they've established the creation of this printed money. They've printed this money based on a false fucking standard. That's where it went all out of control, you dumb fuck. And if you follow all the links, then you can see that it becomes fucking goddamn obvious.
Yeah, the taxpayers are bailing out these major corporations that had a major fuck up on the economy to the tune of $740 billion and more coming. But that's the first time this ever happened. This doesn't happen to every business.
It's not the first time it's ever happened. It's happened every time a big business goes bankrupt. So the Enron problem, who paid for it? All right, the consumers in the end paid for it. The losses were the consumers' problem. All those lawyers, all that court crap, all the bullshit, it's all paid for by the motherfucking consumers because it's the cost of doing motherfucking business. And you goddamn well know that's the way a business works. You know the costs are not paid by the business.
The banks typically lose the money, and that's what would have happened here, except that if the banks actually lost their money, like I explained in the last video, the economy would crash. So we're bailing...
Bullshit. No, what would crash is this illusion that you can get rich on goddamn capital. That's what would crash. That's what would end, because you'd have to pay the real price of the investment of capital. You'd have to pay for the liabilities as well, and you couldn't just reap the gains, then jump off the train right before the motherfucking wreck. And that's what the rich want to do. They want to find some way to keep all the free ride, fast time gains, and they want to leave the wreck in the average working man's lap.
We're helping them out because we don't want that to happen. That's basically what Congress is talking about right now.
Yeah, you can keep defending the bailout. I mean, how can you possibly defend it? I mean, it's an idiotic, moronic, insane scenario that you're going to force the citizens of the country to pay the liability when a bunch of people have made huge profits off of taking those chances. They created the problem. Why shouldn't they be responsible for the problem? They profited from the problem. Why shouldn't they pay the bill for the problem? I mean, it's obvious.
So, that's shareholder liability. Shareholder liability, you do lose. If our business goes down, we owe the bank $100,000, well, what happens is...
Yeah, what? It's, we can give you 9,000 examples of how it just doesn't work that way, okay? Donald Trump built a casino, went bankrupt. Who lost? His shareholders lost. He found a way to avoid any personal responsibility. He kept his fortune protected from the fucking bankruptcy. That's how idiotic and stupid your fucking market system is working under the corrupt rules you assholes keep advocating.
You lose $10,000 you invested in, you can no longer sell that stock because we're dead now. So that's what you lose. You do lose your investment. You lose money on that. You're paying that bill.
Not if you jumped off the train fast enough, soon enough. Not if you jumped off and kept all your fucking goddamn gains you made from the reckless behavior, you dumb ass.
Unfortunately, we can't pay the whole $100,000 bill. So the bank's going to come to us and say, look, you need to pay us back. We can't pay it, blah, blah, blah. And then we're bankrupt. Good luck, bank. And, congratulations on fucking up.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that fuck up just means that the next person who comes to borrow money has to pay more interest, because that's the price of the loss. It's like insurance. If you create a huge catastrophe and a bunch of money has to be paid out, well, then the premiums go up higher. And so we inflate the cost of real borrowing for real people to satisfy having to clean up the fucking train wrecks made by people that use the system, abuse the system, created huge fucking paper profits off people's labor. I mean, it is an insidious, insane, idiotic system.
So the bank takes a loss. Society doesn't pay that loss at all. Taxpayers aren't going to come bail out my business.
No, they're going to come bail out the bank. I mean, they're bailing out the fucking irresponsible behavior. They're bailing out the loss. They are building the net. Okay? The public is building the fucking goddamn net, and that eliminates the goddamn fucking risk.
Then you make a retarded point saying that you extend this as if this wasn't bad enough, okay? And this is an old topic that's been talked about before. A number of people share your opinion on this. I personally don't, but whatever. Now, then you extend that. You go the one step further and say that not only should the shareholder be responsible, that's not enough. This should be passed down to kids. It should keep going.
Yeah, where is it talked about? So you tell me. You show me where it's been talked about all over the place and all this stuff, that the people who are subject to inheritance, to the profits of jumping off of trains before they wreck, shouldn't be also responsible for the wreck. Where has that been talked about? Show me where the conversation has taken place. Because damn it, I haven't seen it in my 48 years. So you show me where that conversation has taken place. All right? But it's a simple, obvious fact that that's what's broken in your market system. Okay? Is that there's this ability to inherit the gains, no ability to inherit the liabilities. So if you're going to allow kids to inherit so the simple solution is to say that, okay, well, we're going to tax the inheritance. We're going to tax inheritance proportional to the amount of money that we have to pay out for the disasters, for the Enrons, for the Fannie Mae's, for the other train wrecks that take place. So that would make it a fair system then. So if you tax the profit inheritance, the amount of money that's paid out for the fucking goddamn losses, the real risk, okay, then you might have an argument. So start advocating that inheritance be taxed for the liabilities it creates. Then you'll have an argument.
This should be paid to the bank no matter what. And that's just, I'm not even going to comment. That's just so ridiculous. The bank, if they...
You're not going to comment. It's so ridiculous. Well, if it's that ridiculous, then why don't you make... You should be able to comment, asshole. So what? Do I have to pay you to comment? Do I have to pay you to try to contrive an answer to that argument? But you're not going to be able to do it. So that's the fucking goddamn truth. So why don't you just admit the truth? It isn't that the argument is so ludicrous. It is that you have no response to the argument. You have no way to logically or rationally defend people being able to profit from jumping off of trains they put into motion.
Make a bad loan to a company, they're going to lose on it. Why? Because the bank risked the money in order to return a gain of interest from that loan. Sometimes it fucks up. Sometimes they lose. I mean, all right, I think that's enough. I mean, I'm pretty sure I addressed every point that you made, and, reply if you want to.
Yeah, well, you can be pretty sure, and you really honestly know you couldn't address it. That's the whole fucking point. You can't address it. Because addressing it would require you to concede that, yes, we've created a broken system. That, yes, we've allowed people to take advantage of the good times and force somebody else to pay for the bad times. That's the bullshit of this system. It is a house of cards. It is phony money. It is not real work. And I'll go a step further. Why don't you, I'll put another challenge to you. Why don't you explain to me exactly what horror the American economy would incur if one day all the rich people, all the let's say the top 3%, if they just evaporated. Their money stayed behind, their wealth stayed behind, but they just evaporated. And all their money went into, say, paying the national debt. Explain to me exactly how the average citizen in our country would be impacted by such a horror.